Good afternoon to one and all. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's session. I'm Anjali Ramachandran from technical team of Go Solutions. It is with immense pleasure and honor to introduce our company, Go's Industrial Solutions Private Limited, established in 2017 to mainly focus on automation projects and technical service of dairy, food, and beverage industry. Our corporate office located in Cochin, engineering center in Pune, and marketing office in Bangalore. Today's webinar will be about MicroLogix to Micro800 migration. With great delight, I'd like to welcome our resource person from Multivista, Mr. Muthuswamy, who is an expert in Rockwell automation, especially in the new advancements of PLC models. Before starting the session, I'd like to let you know that the participants of webinar will be getting a digital certificate which will be shared after session through mail. We'll be sharing a short online quiz based on webinar and winners will be rewarded. So let's start the session by welcoming Mr. Muthuswamy sir. Over to you, sir.
And then what are the resources we can get from the Rockwell side, and then next about that MicroLogix to migration, MicroLogix migration to Micro 800. So Micro 800 family is having a totally 5 range of products. One is 810, Micro 810. So this is a kind of smart relay with a nano sized footprint. The another one will be a Micro 820. So that will be a standalone machines or maybe a kind of remote automation projects we can use for this product. Then third one will be a Micro 830. So fourth one will be a Micro 850. So Micro 850 we can go with the larger IOs. So if it is more larger than 850, we can go with Micro 870 controller. So what are the supported IO modules and plugin modules like that we will going to see. So this is the controller family, and then based on the memory. So it is positioned. So Micro 810 is a smart relay. So it is having 4 output, 8 input like that. It is having the features. So if you want to add some more display into that, yes, it is possible. Then come to the next Micro 820, most probably for the standalone machines, and then remote automation or remote connectivity like that we can use with the Micro 820. So if it is in simple motion application is required with the help of PTO, so we can go with 830. So for in the 830, we cannot able to expand the local IOs. So we can expand the IOs through plugins in the top of the controller. So next will be Micro 850. So this can support 3 PTOs and then Ethernet IP, Modbus TCP IP, serial communication, device net communication, and then remote IO also it can support. Class 1 messaging also it supports Micro 850 as well as Micro 870. So next, so each controller, the specification, what are the supports features available, let me see. So this is the Micro 800 810 anatomy. So in this 810 controller, we can use as a smart relay wherever we want to put a kind of timer counting functions. With the simple automation, wherever it is required, we can position Micro 810 controller. So like Siemens Logo PLC or Schneider Gilio PLC like that. So our Rockwell is offering Micro 810 controller. So this input, it is available in different variants, 12 volt DC, 24 volt DC, and then 120 volt or 230 volt AC is available in the input side. If it is an auxiliary supply side, so if it is an 12 volt, so input is 12 volt is available, 24 volt is available, 110 as well as 230 volt auxiliary power supply is available with this hardware. Different power supply modules, if your our control voltages are our required input is 110, yes, we ultimately we need to go with 110-volt auxiliary supply. So my screen is visible to everyone.
Yes,
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 visible.
sir.
Yeah, thank you. So if you want to change some of the timing functions, you can add it optional. LCD display, want to change some timing function or counting function, so with the help of LCD is possible. And then memory backup also it is possible. We can remove and then we can load to another controller as well as. In this 810 controller, it comes with built-in 4-channel 0 to 10 volt 10-bit analog input. It supports. You want to connect some of the voltage analog devices, so you want to monitor the temperature or maybe a flow kind of application is required, but it can accept only voltage input. So if you want to do the programming, we need to use the USB adapter. So once it is done, so we can remove this adapter, we can fix it in the panel. This hardware is a DIN rail mountable. So this output all are the relay, high current relay supports. If it is in 24 volt, that will be a transistor module. We need to use a external relay. So as we discussed, so this kind of timing functions, smart relay functions, we can be along with 810, we can use for our smart relay application wherever we record simple automation, the timing counting functions, we can go with 810. So with the help of the LCD, we can program the controller, do the programming, want to put a function blocks, yes, it is possible. So next will be a micro 820. Next will be a micro. Next will be a micro 820 controller. So it comes with serial port and then Ethernet port. So this Ethernet port can support Ethernet IP communication as well as Modbus TCP IP communication. Serial port supports RS-232, RS-485. So it comes with built-in RTC. It supports 4 analog input. That is only supports voltage input. We can use for the thermistor input also. It can support. We can expand IOs through the plug-in modules. In the top of the controller, we can add a plug-in modules. We can expand either analog or digital IOs. So this controller supports micro SD card for backupping and then reloading the program and then data logging and recipe functions. It supports PTO up to 5 kilohertz. Pulse width modulation only it supports, not a PTO. So along with the 820 controller, we want to do some changes, setting parameters. We want to do means we can go with LCD remote LCD display. So this is the cost effective. It supports 4 backlight options and then built-in controller menu. We can set the IP address for the communication between this LCD, remote LCD with the controller 820. It supports USB programming as well as. This is majorly 820 is designed for standalone machine application and remote automation applications like pump house in a small the pump house is there. We want to control the pump operation. There we can put 820. It supports RTU, remote terminal unit connections with either Modbus communication or maybe Ethernet communication. Yes, it supports both communication. We can use for building management systems, and it is designed with inbuilt embedded with 4 analog inputs. So flow or temperature kind of analog inputs we can connect to the controller. It supports 5 kilohertz pulse width modulation, controlling solenoid valves or maybe heating applications. Then it built-in RTC is available. Time-based functions we want to run the some of the pump or maybe some application, yes, it is built in RPC is available. Then if you want to give us some program with some coded means, you can use micro SD card for the programming as well. As you just download the SD card format, then the customer can load the program into SD, then power of the controller inside the SD card, then power on, the program will load it into the controller. The customer, that means the end user, you want to block the coding, they don't want to access means, you can do the kind of support also. SD program support is available. So here the input and output terminals, they can be removed for the easy wiring and installation. It supports two plugin modules. So each plugin module details, we will see the later. So along with LCD display, we can easily change the either the standalone machine parameters or maybe some remote application parameters. So the remote LCD can support a 4 or 8 line ASCII text. So like it is showing here, some of the temperature, humidity, pressure, like that we can configure based on our process settings. This also supports door mounting as well as DIN rail mounting. So next will be a 830 controller. 830 controller comes with USB port and then serial port. USB port for programming, serial port for communication with HMI, and then it comes with run program switch. If it is installed with the machine, if it is you don't want to anyone don't want to change, or during the running the machine don't want to change the program, like that, if it is in some uh, conditions is there, just put into the run mode. So if it is in switch in run mode, we cannot edit the program. So if we need to change into the remote position, then only we can modify the logics. That's how we can control the program modification. It supports 110 volt and 24 volt 12 volt. It is available in different base modules: 10 IOs, 16 IOs, 24 IOs, and 48 IOs. It comes with high speed input. Based on that base module, it will vary number of high speed inputs. And then it supports minimum 2 plugin to 5 plugin slots. If it is in 16 or 20, 16 or 10 input module, it can support 2 top plugin. Top side, we can add the IOs. And then high speed PTO pulse train output also it supports based on that base module only. It supports maximum 3 PTO. If it is in 48 point controller, it supports maximum 3 PTOs, pulse train outputs. The pulse train output will be 100 kilohertz speed, and then the serial port, inbuilt serial port is non-isolated. You can use, that means you can configure within the Rockwell controller, you can able to configure SIP serial. If it is in third party, you can able to configure Modbus RTU, either slave, and ASCII also it supports. The controller comes with removable terminal block. We can easily do the wiring. This is the 850 controller. It, it can support legacy products or maybe a Rockwell products is having DF1 communication, you can go with this 850 controller. If you want to use with this controller with class 1 communication like RIO, yes, it can support 8 nodes maximum. the firmware after the firmware of revision 21. So only the E-enabled enhanced hardware only supports if it is an LC, that means MicroLogix. It is having two variant, L50 and L70, LC50 and LC70. If it is in LC, it means it doesn't support this class 1 communication. That should be an enhanced hardware. So these are the hardware is available for the application supports maybe a standalone machine or maybe a remote IO kind of application. Yes, we can go with 850 also. This is the hardware 870. It can support the maximum of handling of IOs as a local 304 IOs. It can support maximum 8 expansion modules. If it is more than 4 expansion modules, we need to use one power supply for the expansion modules operations. It can support Modbus TCP/IP, Modbus RTU, ASCII, and DNP3 protocol also. If you want to communicate your system to radio modem, you need to go with a DNP3 protocol. So Rockwell is offering Micro870 with the DNP3 protocol. Earlier, MicroLogix 1400 supports DNP3 protocol. So MicroLogix 1400 is going to be obsolete another few years. That's why the Rockwell is having this Micro870 along with these features. If it is in want to take a backup memory, yes, memory cartridge is available. We can insert in the top of the controller. Then we can do the memory backup as well as recipe and then data logging also with the help of memory plugin module. This is equivalent to Compact Logix L1 series. So compared to the memory and then instructions, so earlier this MicroLogix family maximum 1400 will support this much instructions only. So Micro 800, 870 will capable of more than that MicroLogix. MicroLogix family supports 256 IOs only, but Micro 870 can support more than 304 IO also. Remote IO machine kind of machine, customized machines also we can position. This is the hardware in the Micro 3 protocol. We need to go with N enabled controller 24 QBB N. This controller only comes with DNP3 protocol. If it is in relay output, yes, it is available. Transistor output also available. And then if it is in conformal port, my PowerFlex 520 series drives, Kinetic 5100 drives, and then point IOs. Either of combination, we can use up to 8 nodes through the class 1 messaging. Earlier, if you want to communicate with some other PowerFlex drive, if it is in Ethernet, we need to do some messaging programming. So now easily just add into the tree, you can easily configure. So these are the expansion IOs. It starts with bulletin 2085. It is Rockwell is inputs and digital inputs in analog, thermocouple, RTD, and then high-speed counter. If it is in digital input, digital output, 16 channel, 32 channel is available. More than 4 expansion, we need to use this power supply. So these are the plugin module is available minimum 2 channel to 4 channel, maximum 4 channel is available in all the plugin models are not one. So in digital, it is available maximum 8 point. If you want to use some PID kind of application, yes, temperature detector, thermocouple 2 channel module is available. It is some trim part application, maybe a testing application. You can go with trim potentiometer plugin module. If you want to add more serial communication, if you want to exchange, that means power meters to controller, you can up to based on the controller base controller plugin options, you can utilize maximum plugins. If it is controller is supports maximum 5 plugins, you can go 5 serial modules as well as. So if it is in compact size panel is designed with for the space constraint, you can able to use the plugin modules for the expanding your IOs. So memory cartridge is used for taking the memory backup and then recipe data logging. This kind of functions you can use. If the existing system is having some device net communication, yes, Micro800 can support up to 20 nodes of device net communications. So might be a device net communication devices, might be a power flux drives, or maybe some other compact block IO modules. Yes, it can support. So you can easily reduce the hard wiring by using the device net scanner. It can support high speed counter also 250 kilohertz. If it is in plug-in module, it can support the maximum frequency of 250 kilohertz. The memory card is available up to 2 GB capacity. So these are the features about the expansion module and plug-in modules. Plug-in modules are 1% of accuracy if it is in analog IOs. Then it is non-isolated. All plug-in modules are non-isolated. So if it is an expansion, all modules are isolated module, analog input modules. Resolution compared to plug-in, this expansion will be a 14-bit resolution. If analog input modules. The module density will be a 4 to 32 points. Here plug-in modules density minimum will be a 2, maximum will be a 8. Here no need to increase your panel size. If you are using the plug-in modules, if you are using the expansion modules, you need to increase your width of the panel. So this is the optional power supply. There in the system doesn't have any 24-volt DC. So easily you can adapt this power supply into the left side of the controller. You can work with 120 volt to 24 volt easily. You can convert. This the output will be a maximum will be a 1.6 ampere at 24 volt side output side. Either you can give 120 volt input or 230 volt input. So if it is in 120 volt also you can use, 230 volt side also you can use. So coming to the configuration software, the Micro800 software, 800 hardware is required to design or maybe a programming software is called connected component workbench. This can be used for doing the logics for the PLCs and then designing the that should be purchased and licensed. Here Micro800 is offering free software edition. If it is in development, we need the features. intellectual property protection already. It can support. Yes, you can select the simulator hardware. You can test your logics. So this is easy to acquire. Standard is free. If you want to develop a design, you can contact your sales person. So connected components used for programming of PLCs. You can create user-defined function blocks, user-defined data type also. If you are experienced with Studio 5000, the same code can be used to design the logics. So you can copy easily from the ladder logics of 500. You can paste it easily. The code can be converted. If you, the theme will be available for as Studio 5000, you can able to get it in the CCW. You can copy the ladder program from Studio 5000 easily. You can convert your program. So you can easily develop your logics with the help of simulator. It supports virtual graphic view of your physical input. Like here it is showing if it is in physical input is presence, it will show the presence of the input. Like that, you can able to simulate your program. So simulator environment, the basic controller, its base controller is 48-point controller. It is defined that you can able to select it. That I will show you just a demo after this session. So with the help of with the help of CCW, you can configure safety relays and then power flux drives, panel view 800, and then panel view component plus HMI also. With the help of CCW, you can design your HMI screens. Panel view 800 HMIs. It is available in three variant. One is 4-inch with 4 key, and another one is 7-inch display. Then third one is 10-inch display. So you can just select the controller tag. You can browse from the global variables in your program itself. You don't want to create separate tags for the HMI. You just click browse your controller tags. So version 20 onwards, it can support DNP3 protocol and then DF1 protocol also it can support. User defined data types it can support, and then panel view 800 graphics display you can create alarm history up to 500 records. Some of the features compared to CCW version 12 and 13, the version 20 is improved for the upload and download timings. So version 21 is introduced for enhanced controllers for the class 1 implicit messaging supported for 520, kinetic 5100, and then point IO also. You can develop your user defined function blocks. If it is in repeated logics is there, you just develop once, then you can reuse the program. Don't create separate programming for that repeated logics. Just copy and paste the block.